Hello everyone. In this video, we'll see certain things which is relating to the statistical part, that is choosing a statistical test for the different cases, okay, or for different PhD topics or for different research papers, okay. How we are going to select the statistical tests, on which basis we are going to choose the statistical tests for our research papers, and that we'll see now. That is, while choosing a statistical test, it will be always depends on the two things, that is the purpose of data and the type of data, okay. The purpose of, there are two types of purposes, that is one is comparison and another one is relationship, okay. So the comparison is made, or it is going to find, is there a difference between the two variables, okay. And the relationship is going to find, is there any connection between the two variables. At that situation, we are going to look after with the purposes, that is one purpose is comparison and another is relationship. Comparison, it will be going to find the, if there is any difference between the two variables, and the relationship is going to identify, is there any connection between the two variables, okay. So here are the purposes, these are the two purposes, and the comparison, okay. So the comparison always looks for the differences between the variables, okay. If you take an example of females versus male, there is a difference, okay. And if you take a one control group to another third treatment groups, there is a difference. And grouping by color preference like yellow, red, blue, etc., there is a lot of difference among these various examples. If you take a males and females, there is lot of structural differences, and there are a lot of things we can identify as a difference, and wherein we can find and we can establish the comparison, okay. So this is regarding the comparison. Comparison always looks for the difference. And next thing is the relationship, the second purpose. It is always looks for connection between the two variables. Is there any significance, or is there any connection between the two variables what we have identified as a variables, okay. So for example, that is, what is the equation relating to height and flexibility, okay. And next is, can age predict muscle mass, and is medication dosage linked to recovery time, okay. There is a close connection between these two variables, like if when it comes to the equation relating to height and flexibility, that is, how much we are height, that much we will be flexible. So if the person height is high, then he or she can have highest flexibility. This is one kind of a relationship. And another kind of a relationship is, if the person's height is less, then the flexibility of him or her is very less, okay. So in order to know these type of a connections, the relationship will be going to identified. And next is, can age predict muscle mass, that is, almost all the old age peoples will be going to suffer from the muscle ache, right. So the age, but nowadays what happening means, the young age peoples also getting muscle pains because of the food strengths. So is there any connection between these two things, okay. And next, regarding with the, is medication dosage linked to recovery time, that is, how we are going to consume the medications like tonics or tablets, Okay, so how much dosage we will be going to take, that is, if we are going to take 500 mg or 800 mg or 1000 mg, the recovery time or the recovery period will be differs. Okay, so this is regarding the relationship. And if we come to the second, okay, the first is the purpose while choosing a statistical data based on the purpose, and the second is type of data. The purposes are two, that is comparison and relationship. The type of data follows like this, that is whether the data is categorical or the continuous, based on which the tests will be going to applicable. Okay, the categorical data means it contains a finite number of categories or distinct groups, and categorical data might not have a logical orders. Okay, that is, categorical data are almost the qualitative characteristics it will follows, so that is why the logical orders will not be followed in the categorical variables. Okay, whereas in the continuous variables, those are the numeric that have an infinite number of values between any two values. Okay, and a continuous variable can be numeric date or time. Okay, that it is having with the quantitative or numerical variables. Okay, like for example, the categorical variables, like the categorical predictors include gender, material type and payment method. These are all having with the qualitative characteristics, whereas the continuous variables will be going to include with the length of a part or the date and time a payment is received. These are all the quantitative. Here in the categorical, finite number of categories or distinct groups will be comes, and there will be no any logical orders. But in the continuous, there will be the data will be expressed in numerics, and those data will be on the basis of the quantitative measurements. Okay, so these are the two things you need to remember while choosing any statistical data. That is, one is purpose, whether the data follows with the comparison or relationship, and another thing is you need to know about the type of data, whether the data what we have, it is categorical or the continuous. Okay, and some of the examples for the categorical or qualitative variables, like political party and did your memory improve, like for example yes or no questions, and which gene was expressed, these kind of things.